there! If you want to learn how long it takes to stop mental translation, stay tuned because I'm pretty sure that this video is going to help you a lot. Coming up. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. First of all, thanks for joining me on another video. I appreciate it. And if it's your first time here, please consider subscribing. Every week I post different kinds of videos to help you become a better English speaker. This is so exciting. I am here on another live video. So if you're joining now, make sure to participate in the chat because this is a live video. And if you want to receive the notifications for the live video, all you gotta do is when you subscribe to my channel, there's a bell. So make sure to check that bell so that the next time I am live, you receive a notification that I am going live. Okay? Very nice. So let's take a look at today's lesson. Today's lesson is going to be pretty interesting. How long does it take to stop mental translation? If you like the subject, hey, hit the like button. That way I will know that this is something that you are interested in. All right. And if you are joining the live video, make sure to let me know here in the chat. But yesterday I was making a live video. As I told you, I'll be making a live video every week, probably 5 times a week. I'm not sure yet. And some of you started asking me about mental translation, about translating things and how you could stop doing that. And if you also watched yesterday's lesson, I talked about how long does it take? So today I used the question, how long does it take? How much time until you stop mental translation? So this is something that I will be talking to you guys about today. So make sure to stay tuned. Very nice. So, first, before I tell you how much time you are going to need until you finally stop, we need to understand a few things, okay? We need to understand why we translate. And I gather some explanations here, but I would love to hear your opinion. Why do you think we translate? Okay, so let me know in the chat or in the comments. I really enjoy when you participate, when you interact, and I'm always trying to reply the comments, give you some feedback. It's really nice. It's a community. So the first thing that I believe is one reason why we translate is that because we have a feeling, we feel the need for exact explanations. We want to know the exact words in our native language. And this is very problematic when we're learning English because as you get at a better level, you start to understand that it's not really possible to have exact translations all the time. Okay, so this is a little complicated, but this is also the first reason why we translate, because we want to know exactly what the word means. Okay. Second reason, we want to associate our language with English because we don't completely understand English references, because you don't know much about English, because learning English is not just about learning words, but also learning the culture, the history. When we are learning something in English, we want to associate that with our language. So consequently, the easiest way to make that association is through translation. So it's almost like a natural thing we do because nobody taught us to do any different. Today's schools, English schools, and many online programs are not really worried about showing you a different way to learn without translation or without the excessive use of translation. Because I'm gonna be completely honest, there are things that I translate. But the problem is when you translate excessively, too much, then you get addicted, and then you can't speak, because every time you're trying to communicate, you will naturally start focusing on translations. Okay? Awesome. Now, the third thing that I believe the reason why we translate, okay? We don't understand the cultural and historical aspect of the English language. Yes, guys, learning English is also learning about history and culture. Yesterday, I was giving a class to a beginner, complete beginner, a basic student. And I started showing this student some expressions that we know, okay, we know the translation, but when I explained the culture behind that expression, the student was surprised. The student was like, wow, really? I will use this expression in this situation? But I thought we could only use that expression. It's a very basic expression for a beginner. I thought we only used this expression in that situation. But no, because I explained the culture, the history, the certain habits that native speakers have, including the language. So many times we don't understand that. What happens is, especially if you study alone, you are studying the words, the expressions, the rules, the grammar, and that's not a very productive way, and consequently you are going to do a lot of translation, okay? Another thing, no one ever showed you how learning without translation can be done. Teachers in general, courses, and not because the teachers are bad. Teachers are amazing. There are many amazing teachers, but sometimes they don't consider this so important because some people believe it's possible to learn. So another reason is that maybe no one showed you how to do it, how to learn without translation. And finally, it's easy, it's convenient, but the translation gives you a false illusion that it's easy. Because think with me, what's the point of learning the translation of a word if you don't know how to use it? Okay? So think about the next time you think that it's easier to translate, think about if that word is going to be easy for you to use. Because honestly, this has happened to me. Sometimes when I learn the translation of a word, I get more confused than the opposite. It doesn't usually help me really learn how to use the word, okay? So translation doesn't teach you how to use a word. It can only make you more confused if you don't check your resources, okay? Your sources, actually. Very nice. The next thing that I want to talk to you guys about is why is it so difficult to stop translating, the first reason is you probably did this since the beginning. So if you started this way, if you started your journey this way, it's probably why it is so difficult for you to, to stop the translation. So this is something that happens to many of my students that are not beginners. They come to me to learn English, and as they are studying, they feel like it's very difficult, probably because they started that way. So if you started with translation, it's definitely gonna be a little difficult for you to continue. Another reason why is you have never studied in a different way, okay? You never tried anything different. Because translation feels so natural to you, you never tried anything else. And as I said, it's addicting. You keep doing it and you don't fully improve your English skills, your abilities, because it gives you a false illusion that you are learning. That's the problem with translation, okay? And because of that, we don't usually try to find anything else because it's just so convenient. Okay? Another reason why it is so difficult for you to stop translating, your environment stimulates translation. Everything around you stimulates translation, and that's why stopping it is so difficult. Teacher, tell me, what do you mean the environment? Explain to me. Well, probably around you, there are many things that you do that you naturally translate. And that's what I mean by environment. Probably everything you study is connected to translation somehow, and consequently, you do not have an environment that will help you stay in English. So, for example, apps. Many people here talk to me about Duolingo. I don't like Duolingo. This is what I mean when I say environment, okay? If your environment, if your study routine uses a lot of translation, that's bad. It's going to make it more difficult for you to stop translating. And finally, you don't follow the right study routine to help you change that. Why? Why is that? When I was an English learner, well, I still learn. I'm still learning English. But when I was a student, back when I was a teenager, I started translating songs. And I really liked to translate songs until I showed my piece of work to my teacher. And at that time, he corrected me and he explained why I couldn't do it, just as I am explaining to you now in many videos that I have made. He explained why translating was bad and the possible consequences. But he didn't stop there. He started giving me some suggestions and ideas of things that I could do that would help me study in a way that wouldn't require so much translation. Because again, being completely honest, sometimes you will need a little translation. The problem is the excessive use of translation. So that really helped me a lot. And maybe that's something that you don't have right now. You don't have a consistent study routine that will support stopping the constant translation. Okay, with my private clients, for example, every time they translate something, I immediately correct them and I show them why that's complicated, and then I explain the word to them in English so that they really learn that, hey, that's not okay. All right, very nice. Moving on. Teacher, I understand what you're telling me, okay? I need to pay attention to the things I do, but how long does it take to stop translating, 100%. This is a difficult question because it'll depend on several things. I put two here because they are the most important ones, but there are other factors. But the best way to answer this question is, this will depend on how dedicated you are to a new routine. If you just want to change, but you don't dedicate yourself to changing, it'll take you a long time to stop translating, like a really long time. Now, the second thing, it depends on how open-minded you are. Many students resist not translating. They get upset. They get angry. So if you are not open-minded to learning English without translation, it will take you more time to stop doing translation, okay? But now, if you are here and you are interested in stopping the translation, we also need to analyze something. How long have you been studying English? Remember grammar lesson of yesterday. How long have you been studying English? Teacher, 2 years. Teacher, 1 year. Teacher, 10 months. If you have been studying for a long time, don't expect to change overnight, okay? The translation will reduce, but not in 3 days, not in a week. Probably you will need at least 6 months to really feel that you're not translating so much anymore. Maybe less. It depends on how dedicated you are, okay? The dedication is important. I will give some tips of things you can do, but for you to feel that you are decreasing how much translation you use will depend immensely on how much dedication you put in, okay? Moving on. Teacher, okay, I know I have to be dedicated. I know I have to be open-minded. So what can I do? There are specific vocabulary exercises that you can do, and you can combine them with speaking. Oh, but teacher Prix, I have nobody to talk to me. Even if you are alone, you can practice this, okay? You can do vocabulary exercises, definition exercises, explain words in English, and you can do that orally or you can do that in writing. But it's important that you do an active kind of exercise. And the best way to start reducing word translation is to start practicing explaining words and actions in English, okay? So you're gonna choose words that at first choose easy words, okay, not very difficult words, and then you will practice explaining those words, okay? That's basically what you're going to do. You will start to explain those words in English. You can record your voice on your cell phone, get a phone, record yourself giving explanations, or you can write. And as I said, you can start with extremely simple phrases, okay? Words. You don't need to use very difficult words and complex things. No, it has to be very simple. Cat, dog, baby, crying, you know? You can use very basic words, very basic actions, qualities, and slowly build this resource of explaining things. You know, it's interesting. I had this advanced student once, and she was really good, but she translated a lot. And I remember that we were talking about war and things like that, and I asked her about the word soldier. And I asked her, explain soldier to me. She was advanced, but she couldn't do it. She translated. And then I said, bang, you never practiced explaining things. You only learned to translate. And when you only learn to translate, by the time you need to talk to someone and explain things, you don't know how because you never practiced, okay? So this is one of the best ways for you to start reducing the amount of translation. Practice explaining words in writing and in spoken language, okay? To help you do that, I have a practical exercise, and you know, every day this week in the videos, I'm giving you some exercises. So participate in the comments. This really helps the channel when you participate, when you make comments. After the video is over, you go back to the video, post in the comments, post your answers in the comments, because here in the live chat, I won't be able to see it, but after, come back to the video, post in the comments, because then I can check it out and I can give you some feedback. Okay, but here I have a practical exercise of what I want you to do on a regular basis. So here I chose 5 words for you. Okay, house, big, doctor, car, and sleep. What you're going to do in the comments is very simple. You will explain these words to me. Oh, teacher, 5 is too many. I can't. Okay, choose 3, choose 2, choose 1, but do it. Practice with me. You will sit down. You will write in the comments for me in the comment section and hit the like button, by the way, and you will explain each word for me. Okay? That's the homework for today. You will see that if you keep doing this kind of exercise with time, dedication, being open-minded, you will start to feel consistent improvement and a reduction of the need for translating everything. Okay? Very nice, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. This was actually a question from one of you guys in the live video yesterday. So if you have questions, you can post them. I may not answer them during the video, but I can make this into a video just like today. And if you enjoyed, I ask you to help me by sharing this video with your friends. That way, you help the channel grow. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow for another lesson.